I'll explain the whole process and we'll go from there. All right, so my name's Dave. I'm with Bona. So we're the company that makes all this equipment, the cleaners, and all the finish that you'll be using today. So what we're gonna do is scrub these floors first. And you can see they're pretty dirty. There's a lot of soda and gum and all kinds of stuff on the floor. So we wanna get the floor clean as we can before we actually abrade it. The cleaner the floor is before you start this process here, the better this will work. So this is the main part of what we're gonna show. Abrading the floor is probably the most important part to the gym floor. It's like painting a house or a cabin or anything else. What's the most important part is prepping, getting ready for the paint to go on. You can't just put paint over gum or... What we have is a diamond abrasive. So this abrasive actually has diamonds embedded in it. This diamond abrasive will go about 5,000 square feet on this set right here. It also cuts a lot better. So you'll see as we're cutting the floor that it'll look exactly the same all the way across. You won't get a big change. This is our machine that we have, and then this goes on a multi-disc. So you see the piece that's on here is called a multi-disc. And what this piece does, it takes the abrasive, and while this is spinning in your normal fashion that your buffer spins, these are spinning the opposite direction of that. And so what that does is gives you a lot of torque and a lot of action on the floor without putting any swirls in the floor. It's also super aggressive, so it's gonna cut a lot faster. When you do a normal machine with a normal grit, you guys know that you kind of have to hill your machine. You'll get to a spot and you kind of ride on it to get some grinding going. You'll see that you won't have to do this on this. And you'll see the speed at which we can move is considerably faster. So two guys doing this gym, we should have this entire gym abraded in about an hour, hour and a half. The other thing about this tool, it's fully dust containment. So you see the dust skirt on it, backpack vac goes on, you put backpack vac on here. It plugs into the machine. So when you turn the machine on, it's not a separate cord, it turns on with the machine as well, the backpack vac. So you have 100% dust containment. The big wheels are so you can go up and down stairs real easy. The best part about this thing, two things. One is the push button handle. So it's just a push button hydraulic handle. These handles are really nice for that. It also, if you had to move it from spot to spot, you can collapse that handle. Really good machine, great motor. It's with the multi-disc. You'll also notice in gyms, if you have some of the older machines and you have to worry about cord size being too thin, you'll pop your breakers or blow up you'll see that the torque on this thing is really low, and we don't normally, where other machines are popping breakers all the time and outlets, this thing won't pop them at all. All this stuff, this piece, the multi-disc, the finish, if you use all that together with the vacuum, it's all GREENGUARD certified for children's schools. It means the entire process is GREENGUARD certified. The cleaner and the finish are Green Seal certified as well on top of that. So the chemical is Green Seal certified. So it's all very environmentally thoughtful in that process. That's that. So we're gonna scrub. If you guys wanna run any of these scrubbers or play with any of the scrubbers, you're welcome to do any of that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna have everybody jump on these things once we get going. In the meantime, you ask questions and just hang out and watch. This is turning one way, these turn the opposite direction. There's a couple of things it does. One, it makes it very aggressive in the spot that it's cutting because it's cutting a lot harder. It's a harder plate in that area, but because of the direction, there's no swirls. So you can't see any swirls, and there's no direction to which way you go. So you could go this way across the floor, you could go that way. It doesn't matter which way you go because there's
got brochures, which
yeah,
we do.
Yeah. You don't have to overlap the whole 6 inches like you normally would on a pad. So after you get done with a little bit of spot, you see it looks pretty much the same all the way across there. You'll see, if you look when we look at it, when we pull the dust off, you see those kind of like spots, black spots on there? That's a buildup of a couple different things. Dirt, junk in there, that's in there. It could be other finish, other cleaners. What will happen if you take care of the floor, and if you put our finish on and do this next time, these things will be completely clear. There won't be any bumps or any spots on it or anything like that. And you'll do this whole floor without having to mess with it. It's producing a lot of dust. See all the dust on the floor? There's a ton of dust, but see, it's on the floor and not up here. So you won't see dust up on the bleachers and all that kind of stuff. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna braid this floor. We got a couple different machines set up. Everybody can jump on them. And then we'll come back and dust mop it, just with the dust like we did real quick, and then we'll scrub it and be ready to go. This side's gonna be really braided. This spot's gonna be really good.
This part is gonna do really well.
Any questions about what we did so far on all the parts? There's still a pretty good abrasion overall on the floor. We went and fixed a couple spots, but pretty much that's what we're trying to look for. A couple of things about this finish. So this is the finish in the bucket. It's water-based finish. It's green seal, like I talked about before, and GREENGUARD certified. It's a single component finish, so there's no part A and part B that you have to mix together to make it work, right? So we just took it from the bucket and poured it straight in here. If I have leftover of this, I can pour it right back into the bucket and use it tomorrow. By the time we're on that side of the gym, this side will be dry. It also has 24-hour play. So if my last coat is, I don't know what time it is right now, 12:30, so we'll probably be done at 2:30. So if that was my last coat, tomorrow at 2:30 we can play a basketball game. So what we're gonna do is we use a lightweight T-bar, okay? So this is your measuring stick. I know you're using a heavyweight, I think now. You'll see when we start pulling this, how much easier it is to pull the finish. All right, so when I am coating a floor, I'm gonna run my bead down, and against the bleachers always the toughest. A couple other things. One is you always wanna find your best exit from a gym, right? So you wanna make sure you start in a place that's gonna be the least noticeable and finish in a place that's gonna be the least noticeable, hopefully. So if you can start and finish against the bleachers, that's the best. Not always can you do that. Sometimes the doors are in different weird spots, but make sure you start. So if all the traffic came in that side, we want to start on that side and finish on this side. We're gonna finish at that door, so it's all in the middle anyway, so it doesn't matter. One of these two doors are gonna be the same deal. But you know what's the #1 common thing people do? Is they put their phone or their keys up here on the bleacher, and they coat the floor, and then they can't get out or can't drive home, or because they forgot that their keys are up there. So normally, under normal conditions, now the air is not too bad here. There's some gyms that I've been in that there's a massive amount of air. Checking doors. This door, if I open this door, you can feel the breeze just fly through here, so you don't want to leave these doors open. In fact, we need to shut those doors on there. So if you can turn off air handlers, you want to turn off air handlers. I know that's difficult. Sometimes it's the act of God to get the climate system turned off in some of these schools, but if you can,